welcome back to another episode of the group chat where myself and Phil, we're in studio and we're gonna recap the weekend. Let's have a chat about everything that went down. Most importantly, the Southern Hemisphere dominate the North, and it feels good. It feels good because the North feel like they take it like as rugby's their thing. They're leveling up the sport and they're leaving the Southern Hemisphere behind. That was the chat going into the World Cup last year, that the Northern Hemisphere teams would dominate the World Cup. Didn't come out victorious, obviously. Southern Hemisphere teams in the final. And yet again, we come out on top. How good.
Not then, not now. A clean sweep across the board.
Yeah, full clean sweep, right?
13-23, New Zealand, 18-50, Argentina, Italy.
Do we count Japan?
37-42, Australia.
One of the games, probably the greatest game of probably the Northern Tour that we'll see.
15-32, South Africa, Scotland. 19-24, Fiji, Wales. Let's go Fiji.
We are skipping Japan, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where Japan are Southern Hemisphere or are they North?
Asking the wrong questions.
I actually have no idea.
What was the score?
They lost to France. 50-something, 12 maybe?
Tough. When was that this morning?
I'm not sure. But, yeah, it was 52-12. I'm now more intrigued to Japan, Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere? Northern Hemisphere, let's see. Japan is located west of the Pacific Ocean in the Northern Hemisphere. So we did get the clean sweep.
They must be close.
They
must be close.
Must be pretty French. Yeah, okay. Tokyo is north of the equator, so I don't know if that helps out.
Yeah.
But anyway, everything. Let's talk about this All Blacks Ireland game. Everything in the lead up to it. The Johnny Sexton, Rieko Ioane. I thought he led a fantastic haka, by the way, Rieko. He actually looked low-key scary leading it, which is kind of what you want. I reckon he was fired up. But it kind of felt like Ireland just weren't up for the game. It felt like they didn't show up. All the passion behind revenge game, this sort of thing. They kind of talked it down. This isn't a revenge game. We're just going to go out there and execute. We're not out here to play into that whole factor. And it just felt like they didn't have anything, no fire with them. Not the Irish team that are the number one or number two team in the world.
I thought, in particular, their second half was pretty bad. I thought the game as a whole was pretty average. I don't know how you felt.
No, it was a bit of a stinker, really.
But it felt more like watching a game of scrums than it did a game of rugby. And the referee did absolutely nothing to try and speed the game up. I think there was 20 scrums in total, and I was unbelievably bored.
Yeah.
Particularly in that second half, Ireland, just so many unforced errors. They had one or two opportunities early on, and then they just gave it away. All Blacks pretty lucky at that point in time when you think, oh, Ireland's coming out with some pressure, finally. But nah, nevertheless, good result for the ABs, and yeah, even better result across the board, getting that clean sweep. So,
do you reckon, so with everything that was going on in the background, is that one of the most satisfying wins for the All Blacks, and then for Razor, the All Blacks group, and then fans in New Zealand as well? Because people back here, win or lose, people are going to cry about it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But do you reckon that's one of the most satisfying wins we could have had?
Considering the other games, yes. That win on its own, I don't think so. It's good for the Northern Tour. It's good to go now, 2-0?
Yep.
Hopefully make it 3-0. Going to France on Sunday. So, yeah, in the context of a clean sweep, absolutely. In the context of a performance, I don't know.
Okay, if we talk about performance, D-Mac, man of the match.
Yep.
Kicked very well, both off the tee. What did he have? He had 4 penalties in the first half, what was it, 13-12 at one stage, all from the boot of D-Mac, and he kicked very well in play as well. Good exit, and just putting some of those kicks forward for guys to chase as well. Probably one of the best games he's probably had in the number 10 jersey for the ABs.
Yeah, one of the more successful turnouts for him, I think.
So let's say Bowden Barrett's back next week. The All Blacks talk a lot about you don't lose your spot through injury. Bowden Barrett lost his spot through injury. If he comes back in, does he jump back into 10 and D-Mac to the bench again, or are they going to stick with D-Mac after his performance this weekend?
I would assume they just stick with D-Mac. I didn't think he lost a spot due to injury. Have they not just been experimenting this whole time? I don't think there's been a guaranteed starter for the ABs. Bowden Barrett, especially Rugby Championship coming off the bench, I don't think there's been a solidified thing. D-Mac has been the more consistent starter, I would say. So therefore, I would assume they start with him again.
You reckon? I'd like to see them bring back Bowden in. I think D-Mac's role off the bench is what can win us games. I think D-Mac was going to be the 10 for every game in the Northern Hemisphere tour if he was healthy. So that's the point. Yeah. Sorry, did I say D-Mac? Bowden. Yeah, if he was healthy. I think he was going to be the 10 for all the games. Maybe not one of the last ones, depending on results. So, yeah, I think it was his spot. And then missing this game, does he come back in and take it? I'm thinking if he's healthy, they're going to put him back in the 10 spot.
I think he starts bench.
Okay, yeah. Because Will Jordan, probably the best fullback.
It's on fire, yeah.
Yeah. Again, he's going to be like another Ben Smith. He's just going to be quality. And I think he's already top. He's got 38 tries, 37 tries, and 38 tests, one way or the other.
Yeah.
That guy's a try-scoring machine, and again, just electric.
Yeah, it was really good under the high ball, too. Took some crucial catches, so it's looking good. Ben Smith-esque, I would say. And
So
obviously, he's just so fast.
So you can't really take out Bowden from 10, put him at 15. So
that would be silly.
I just Will Jordan back out to the wing.
Yeah, he's also been injured. Why would you take someone who's coming back from an injury and then just take out someone who you've just said got man of the match? It doesn't really make sense. Start the returning injured player that can cover those both positions from the bench, surely.
D-Mac can cover both as well, though.
Yeah, but he just got man of the match.
Yeah,
you get man of the match and then you get benched because injured McGee has come back to play. I think Bowden was good when he came off the bench. It was one of his best performances. Well, who was it against? Argentina or England? Can't remember.
The Argentina one, I think.
I think it was the Argentina game. Yeah, and then he's just security. Push Will Jordan to the wing if need be. Mike Tyson has been having some good games.
He's actually come up good at these last two games, eh?
Yeah, Caleb Clark's been strong, but I think less active. Yeah,
I think Talea, he was an interesting one because I don't think he was that great at all throughout the Rugby Championship, but he's come up north.
Yep.
He's looking like a different guy on the wing. He's got his step, which he's always been slippery, but now he's looking powerful too. Yep. Like he's running through players. He's actually looking to get over the advantage line in the tackle rather than just step someone and maybe go down on contact. He's running through guys, hungry to get to the line.
Pumping those legs
is what you need on the wing. You need someone who's get a bit of white line fever, get down there, do whatever you can to find the try line. He's been looking good, very good.
Yeah.
Suffer more. What a ball out to Will Jordan as well. Unreal.
Yeah. World class. He had a great game. 78 minutes or so, or 70 odd?
Yeah. I think they're showing a lot of faith in him. He's playing a lot of minutes.
Good game.
And that just shows the coaching staff got a lot of faith in that boy, and it's good to see.
Yeah.
And then we go to Sam Cane. Did you see what happened to him? Because he's got 15 stitches in his head.
Yeah.
You've seen the photo.
Of a gash. Yeah.
What happened?
I'm not sure.
Because I've got no idea what happened.
I don't think it was foul play or anything. It's just maybe like a head knock.
Yeah, because it wasn't really highlighted at all, was it?
No.
Yeah, well, there was blood everywhere. Does he turn around? Do you just strap that back up and he plays this weekend? Or with 15 stitches in your head, do you think you have a week off? I think he's under HIA as well at the moment. So it will depend on that.
Yeah, probably.
If he passes.
On that, yeah. Well, they strapped his head right there and then as if he was going to keep playing, but then he got subbed immediately. So, which makes me, if it's HIA, it makes me think it's just head-on-head sort of collision in the ruck or something.
Hell of a scar.
Yeah, absolute warrior. I'm sure he would play if he was allowed to. So, yeah, wait and see.
Yeah. So overall, didn't really live up to the expectation. The All Blacks game. Stoked we won. stoked we covered that 5.5 point spread. That's unbelievable that we had.
Well, I don't want to say the All Blacks didn't live up to expectation. They got the win.
I think the whole event, the atmosphere,
the game and the event didn't really live up to the competitive sort of anger you wanted out of that game.
Also, the referees, apparently they're not playing the uncontested line-out rule in this Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
Why are we playing different rules in different parts of the world?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, you see the photo on that not straight line-out that he did call. One of the Irish locks just put his hands up. And they were like, is that count as a contested? And everyone's just, but no, the rule is someone has to be lifted for it to be contested. But they're just not playing that rule in this little tournament thing that they're doing.
It's trialing, I guess.
And then the scrum timer as well, because what is it down here? Like a 30-second, got to get the scrum done within 30 seconds. And they're not doing that. The whole thing just felt very disjointed.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I'm watching this. We're gone out for breakfast for the cricket. We were warming up, so it felt disjointed watching it. Yeah. I wasn't sure if that's the whole experience, if you just sat on the couch and watched it, but it does sound like everything was disjointed.
Yeah.
Very
slow game.
On the other side of the spectrum, England versus Australia. Unbelievable game. Australia getting the job done over the Poms, and Suoli looks so good for someone who's never played a game of professional rugby union.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What do you take away from that?
Even more crazy to start him.
I reckon it's such a good move because they've gambled everything on that. Well, I think I saw they paid him like 2.1 million to get him across, something like that.
Yeah, definitely in the millions. And obviously he was naturally that now Wakatinawasi replacement. So I thought he would have been wing, but he's a big boy, so outside centre it is. Australia getting a try at the end. Very nice. 82nd minute. Something ridiculous. It's good. They were keen for it to do that rather than set up a drop kick. Very impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, would have been exciting to watch that whole game, I reckon. I obviously just watched the highlights.
Yeah.
Definitely a game where both teams didn't really want to defend by the looks of things.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Exciting package, man. So good to watch. I would have loved to have watched that potentially over the New Zealand game. Just looked far more entertaining and a lot closer.
I think because it was kind of wet in Dublin, a little bit of moisture hanging around, and I guess at Twickenham it was just good conditions for some good running rugby.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. It's good for Australia too. Good for Schmitty boy, and it's good for the comp in general.
Huge for Australia.
To see Australia starting to build something now. Which is good.
So the headlines around Suoli were that he's saving a dying game, and he's going to be the guy that transforms.
That's glaze.
Rugby union
that's
in
so
Australia.
Glaze. Yeah, that's glaze.
Is that too much to put
Hell
on him?
Yeah.
Just after one
game, yeah. Did he score a try even?
He got that try assist though. That was nice.
He got a nice try assist, and he had a great solid game. I don't know. That's like saying SBW transformed rugby union. I don't.
Did he though?
I don't think he did.
The offload, his little one hand offload out the ruck, out in the tackles. That was his thing. It was his
SBW's
thing.
Offloads are like iconic. I don't know if that's to say no one else offloaded in rugby union ever, but
I think he popularized it.
He wasn't an outstanding centre. He was very good. But again, his case, Suali's case, is different because he's just come straight in. He hasn't even had a season in Super Rugby.
No.
He's not playing for the Chiefs.
He's not played a professional game at all.
So SBW had time to adapt. Well, it's like RTS. I don't think he transformed the rugby union game. He came from league.
I think
so for him to do that decent without any other experience or any other runouts, 100%. But I think it's a little bit of glaze. And a team that performed very well. And you see the headlines, you're like, oh, it's just going to be Suali highlights, and it's not. It's one.
No, yeah,
it's one play. He played a consistent game, and it's good to see. But I think, that's a bit too much.
I think the difference between him and then the RTS situation is RTS is coming into an All Blacks team that is full of studs anyway. Guys who are the guy. Like, there's multiple guys in that team where it feels like in the Australian team, there's not like a star. There's not someone who that they can gravitate towards, they can market. And I think less so his like actual playing ability and what he brings to the park. It's his marketability that I think they're trying to go for, and how they're going to try to grow the game through him, get more league guys getting back into union. So one of the questions I had for you was if they can get more of those, because those league players, they're just athletes, man. They just go and go and go. They're physical, they're fast, they've got unreal ball skills. If they can get a couple more guys transition across, develop them over the next couple of years, come Rugby World Cup time, depending on how it all goes, if they can do that, I'd see them being a real threat.
I mean, it's interesting because it doesn't always work out that way. We've seen that with RTS. I don't think he was overly successful in his transition. That's why he's back at the Warriors. SBW was great off the bench, and I think him and Suale are similar. They got big size, they got good offloads. They make a difference. They add a bit of flair.
Yeah. Difference
is, as you said, I think SBW at that time, he probably had Ma'anonu and Conrad Smith, all the likes. He's trying to get into that squad. Suale can slot straight in.
Not even off the bench, straight in, starting.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the other thing I would question is, would you even bother gambling with other rugby league players? Because you've just got a 42-37 win over England. You can see the team is starting to build something good here. You've brought in a big player that has a bit of flair from the league side.
Yep.
It's looking good. Do you gamble with more league players that may or may not work out? We know Joey Manu is going across to Japan. So he's an addition maybe in the future for New Zealand. Really depends how they transition. And I think he was such a big commitment from Rugby Australia. And they almost wanted to give him back. They almost wanted to sell him back to league. Do you see that?
No.
But obviously not anymore with a performance like that. So,
well, they heavily invested in him.
They did.
Massively. Like, they've just put
and gave, Tinawasi away for free. So, interesting.
Everything is in one basket in Suoliti for Rugby Australia, it feels like. They've just gambled everything on it. But I feel like if it pays off and it works, then it opens up a pathway for other guys to come through. Maybe they don't step straight in like Suoliti does, but it helps build that depth for the Australian team. Because if they do want to be competitive, they need more than 23 good players.
Yep. You
need, what is it like now? We name a wider squad of like 36, 38 players. So they're going to need near on 40 players, I think. Good competitive players.
Yeah, well, you want it to be competitive, don't you? You want it to be fighting for those spots. So.
Yeah, so if there was another one to come over and play for Aussie from the league, is there anyone you have in mind that you'd like to see? Maybe not you think the most likely, just someone you think you'd like to go and see play for
Australia?
For the Wallabies. Or for the All Blacks.
Well, yeah, Joey Manu for the All Blacks.
Yep.
Australia. Reece Walsh would be interesting.
What position would he play? Fullback?
Fullback. I think Callaway has cemented that position. It'd be good to give him some competition in that role. Maybe a winger.
I was thinking like a Brian To'o would be kind of chat to see on the wing.
I'm not sure he would be a Wallabies man. I'm not sure if that's him. I'm trying to think of people that would actually potentially be, keen.
Because the main reason I feel like that people wouldn't, because they've got such a better gig playing rugby league. The pay, the hype around it, the fans, everything is just lifted. So it feels like there's not much benefit for anyone to.
Nathan Cleary at 10.
That would be interesting.
Could be insane. Maybe there's an argument for a few halves. Tom Trebojevic would go all right, I reckon. You could play him centre, you could play him fullback. He's tall, he's athletic, bit of pace.
I think
there's a few names in there.
Lots of it is translatable skills, and the actual ball skills are unbelievable. The league guys, and you just bring that into the contact in rugby, and you get those offloads like you saw with Suoliti. It makes a massive difference, and you just get more guys who are able to do that.
Yeah,
it's hard to stop. Marcus Smith for England, unreal. He just loves to run the ball. It's kind of like what D-Mac, I feel like, does for the Chiefs when he runs the show for the Chiefs. That's what Marcus Smith reminds me of, and it's good to see.
England always sort of start to look like a different team when he's off the pitch, I've noticed. So it definitely makes a huge difference to that side.
Okay, let's go to South Africa. You weren't betting on them massively because you weren't sure on the squad. Yeah, 1 to 12. And I think the line was about 10.5 heading into. And you said Scotland had come off a couple of good games. So was South Africa better than you expected, or did Scotland let it slip a little bit?
I think that game pretty much went as expected. I thought it was a good head out between the teams. Even after seeing that lineup, I still would have backed the 1 to 12.
Yeah,
I thought it was a weaker back line, but then the bench was disgusting.
Did you end up going what instead of the 5-2 split? Did you go a 6-1 split?
It was 7-1, wasn't it?
7-1
or 6-1, 6-1, 7-1. Yeah.
Massive bomb scored. So that was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that try at the end. Just the scrum, they just walked through the Scottish forwards genuinely, and then Visser, whatever, puts it down at the end of the game. The scrum just walked through the 5 meters. It was ridiculous. I think at one point it was 15-19. Then it was about 22-15 with 8 minutes to play. So I thought that 1 to 12 was there. And then that scrum happened, and you're like, okay. Yeah, I mean, Springboks had the lead for 71 minutes. I thought there may have been a bit of lead change, is probably the only thing for Springboks to, I wouldn't say dominate, but to have that comfortable lead for 70 minutes of the game was huge for them.
Yeah.
Yellow cards either side. Just in general, yeah, a good head out and a fair result, I think.
Okay. Alrighty, let's go to the Pacific Championship. We're all wrapped up.
Wow.
The Kangaroos beating Tonga, what was it, 20 points to 14 or to 16?
2014 on the money.
2014. Tonga, like you said, different team, looked a different team. 18.5 was the line, and they covered that with ease.
Yep.
They'll be proud of the performance they've put out.
Hell yeah. Hit the ground running. It's what we wanted them to do. Got the first try in the corner. How good are the Tongan fans? My God.
Yeah,
that was insane. This game was in Sydney. It looked like a Tongan home game. The fans turned out in numbers, chanting, singing, red flags everywhere. Yeah, embarrassing for the Kangaroos team, really. It's like they had no fans in that stadium.
Yeah.
So great to see them start the game so well. There were a few chats around Kangaroos doing the back-to-back, making them scoreless again. No chance.
Yeah, we did hear that, actually. Yeah, a couple donuts being thrown around.
No chance. I reckon those Tongan fans are some of the best in sport.
Best in sport?
Yeah. They're up there with the Irish fans, I reckon.
You'd put Irish rugby fans?
Yeah.
Top of all sport fans?
Of all sport fans?
Yeah.
Probably not. But in the context of rugby? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll get around it.
Kangaroos, obviously coming away with that 2014, despite that late charge in the second half by the Tongans. And yeah, I guess Tonga a little bit unlucky with especially the first disallowed try. But I mean, you couldn't really name a more iconic duo than Ashley Klein and bad calls. So I think Tonga were very, very unlucky. That obstruction, I'll never understand how that is an obstruction. And the second disallowed try that's just a clear knock on. But yeah, 18.5 point line, worked a treat, and pretty exciting game to watch, I thought.
Yeah, nice. All right. Kiwis, PNG. Now, if the Kiwis lost this game, we would have been in the second tier for the Pacific Championship next year, right?
Yep.
Thank goodness we didn't lose. And what was the end score? 50-something to
54-12 over PNG. Dominant performance for SJ's
send-off.
SJ send-off until he comes out of retirement again.
Yeah, he's kind of pulling the Tom Brady here, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm back.
I ain't leaving.
I'm done. I'm back.
Yeah, it's like even I think McGregor retired at one point, and then 5
Has
minutes
he retired
later
from MMA and then come
I think
back?
in the part, yeah, you've seen his tweets, and then 5 minutes later he goes, "Oh no, I'm coming back." You know, it's yeah. great result for the Kiwis to end off a pretty average championship. And Casey McLean with the debut, opening goal and opening try, and in addition to that, 4 in total.
4 total tries, yeah.
What a beast.
What a dog, and still only a teenager.
Good signs. And that was because of he got the call up because of Warbrick injury. So yeah, good to see.
Yeah,
it's a good experience for him as well.
Absolutely, unreal from him. So Pacific Championship wrapped up for another year. We stay on the top flight. Tonga, probably the story of the tournament.
Yeah, 100%. You'd say.
And I feel like they kind of always are. The way their fans show out, the way the heart they show when they play, they're always going to be one of the stories.
Funnest team to watch for sure.
All right, let's move away from rugby.
Yep.
Let's go into the Premier League. And it feels like Liverpool, they've got a massive opportunity here to just run away with the league through 11 games. What is it? A hefty buffer on Man City after they've been slipping up. Now lost 4 games on the trot.
Yeah,
I think Arsenal, Chelsea, Nottingham, Brighton are all sitting on 19 points, so 9 points off the pace.
Yeah.
Then you've got a couple teams on 18 as well. It's pretty tight around that part, but Liverpool playing very good football under Arnie Slot.
Mm-hmm.
How are we feeling about Liverpool?
5-point buffer.
Over City?
Only over City. Only a defeat to the Goats, Nottingham Forest and Chris Wood. So, they're looking good. Looking really good. They can even afford for Núñez to miss some open chances. So, they're cruising.
I think the thing with Núñez is he likes to make a good goal. Like, he's not going to score the easy ones. We see it. He's missed one-on-ones plenty before he did again on the weekend. But he scores the hard chances. Like, the goal he did score is probably one of the hardest chances of the match.
It's clean. But again, you think if it's a tighter game...
you'd want him to be back.
Maybe you kind of need him to be. But when you got the likes of Mo Salah, it's probably gives him a bit of opportunity to show a bit of flair and miss a couple goals, I guess.
I'll tell you what, for the over 2.5 bettors, you are not a fan of Darwin Núñez.
You would be fuming.
With that finishing 2-0, could have been 3-0.
Yep.
And then Brighton handing Man City their 3rd loss in a row in the Premier League, 4th across all competitions.
Yeah, crazy.
The last time Man City lost 3 in a row in the Premier League, do you know what season it was?
Maybe like 2013.
Longer.
Wow.
2005-2006 season was the last time they lost 3 in a row, losing to Fulham, then Arsenal, and then Blackburn.
Oh, well.
Were involved. And it's the first time in Pep's career he's ever lost 4 in a row.
4 in a row, yeah.
And it feels like he's... Have you seen his comments after the game? Maybe after 7 years winning 6 Premier Leagues, I mean, flex it, but sure. Maybe 1 year another team deserves it. So, is he already conceding the title here? Or is he like, right, we're just going to put our eggs somewhere else. We're going to win the Champions League. We can't win the EFL Cup because Spurs beat us, but
I just think that's a bit of tongue-in-cheek from him. I think that's just a little bit of, when Mourinho used to say, respect. I think that's just him saying, well, actually, here's the stats. And I think he's just being a bit, not like teasing, but yeah, getting a bit spicy. I think he'll be frustrated losing 4 in a row, especially to some of those teams that he's lost to. He'll be a bit upset. Losing 4-1 against Sporting, he'll be upset. And the next 3 aren't great either.
No.
Tottenham, Liverpool, and the Goats, Nottingham Forest. So,
yeah, it's a tough wee stretch. You throw.
Not sure how many points they're going to be pulling out of those 3 games.
Also depends how they come back from international break too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they could come back flat after losing 4 on the bounce.
Yeah.
You got a 2-week break. You're either coming back fresh or flat, one or the other. And after 4 losses on a row,
it's either going to save them or it's going to just add to that lackluster sort of last 4.
It's also the first time in a row. Sorry, the first time ever, not in a row. First time ever, Haaland has scored for City in a losing effort. So on the wrong
Most
side of
interesting.
history there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's scored in draws before, but first time Haaland has netted one.
Yep.
And City have gone on to lose.
Wow.
So
yeah, I think he was very frustrated in that game.
Yeah.
Some great reactions from him.
he loves to show his emotion.
He does. Very emotional.
For someone who's so robotic, he gets
He's
angry.
very emotional, yeah.
And he's very physical.
Good to see.
It's good. It's good. And it's a sign of not getting complacent with winning. Like
Yep.
oof. Maybe that boy just hates losing so much. And fair enough too, because when you win as much as they do.
Yep.
Winning. United.
Winning.
And Rude are things that go together. And now one of them's departing.
Yep.
3-0 in the send-off for Rude.
Yep.
Undefeated through his short tenure. How are we feeling?
It's good. It's a good string of results that we needed. I think we talked about it. Wanted that draw against Chelsea and then the next 2 wins. So I think he's 4-3-1. 4 games, 1-3, drew 1 across the other comps. So 75% win rate.
Good.
It's the best performing one of recent. Beats Carrick 66%. Carrick's undefeated. He was 3-2 and then drew 1. Who was it? Ole Gunnar won his first 8 matches when he was in temporary
He won 8
charge.
in a row?
8 in a row.
Holy.
8 on the bounce. That's why such a good start. But we've seen it before. As I've just listed, we're good with our interim managers.
Yep.
And so I don't think it's much of a change. He did what he needed to do. Thank you very much, Rude.
Yep.
And now we prep for the new manager coming in ahead of Ipswich.
Does much need a change? Like, if you've got a winning formula here, your new manager coming in, does he just go, right, I'm going to implement my style, we're going to do things my way, but really, not a lot's going to change. You guys are winning on the field now. Do you think he makes drastic changes to the lineup, tactics?
I don't think there can be many drastic changes. I think it's in a good spot now where there's not as much pressure on the players to have these strong performances. So he comes in with a bit of reassurance, a little bit. And the players will want to continue to perform to try and get into the team, you would hope.
Yep.
So Rude's done a really good job and he did exactly what he needed to do, basically. So...
And he's set himself up well as well. Because if he wants to go on and be a head coach of another team, he's now got a 75% winning record at United.
There's an argument.
So he's got some cards up his sleeve he can pull out. United have Ipswich, Everton, and then Arsenal. Their 3 games back after the international break.
Yep.
Ipswich coming off their first win.
Huge.
They just beat Spurs, and honestly, Spurs... It just depends what team turns up there. You can have a team that's going to go and beat Man City.
Yeah.
And then you have a team that's going to go and lose to Ipswich.
Yeah.
Like, it's so Spursy. And I hope when Spurs play City after the international break, that
good Spurs
City beating team comes out. But go the Tractor Boys.
Yeah.
Good to see them get on the board, which means who are the only winless team? Maybe Wolves.
No. They got to win. They got a win over the weekend. I think it was even a 2-0.
True beans.
So everyone is on the board.
Everyone's got a win.
United still, 13th, but we're climbing. We are climbing. We're 1 point behind 10th place Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
The Bottlers. We're 4 behind 3rd place Chelsea. It's not a lot in it. Not a lot in it.
No, it actually is pretty tight when you look at Chelsea, who are 3rd. Also, how the heck are Chelsea 3rd? 'Cause Arsenal were 3rd going into this game this morning. Because we were tied on the same points. Both on 18 points.
That would be goals for, wouldn't it?
Arsenal were 3rd. Is it goals for?
Well, goals for or GD, either one.
But it was a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
So how does the goal difference change and then flip Arsenal and Chelsea? Arsenal were ahead of Chelsea going into this game. We were sitting 3rd.
Were you?
Yep. So I don't know what's changed.
No. But I would assume it's because Chelsea have more goals.
The
21
goal,
to 18.
the
goal difference is
difference is 8-6, yeah. But so that goal difference kind of changed after the draw this morning.
Maybe
maybe
the
they just had a
table was
mistake with
incorrect before.
Arsenal, being ahead of them.
Couldn't tell you.
Anyway, that Chelsea-Arsenal game, we've a little bit concerning now. Saka and Rice both being forced off the field due to injury.
Oh, no good.
Which isn't great. But Odegaard did come back, and after a day and a half of training, a day and a half of prep, got on the field and had the impact he did. That guy's a classy player, man, and we have been missing him big time. But yeah, Martinelli, good goal. Good goal. Yep. You seen it?
I've not seen it yet.
Good goal. Good goal. Go watch it. Pedro Neto, also a good goal, actually. 10 minutes later to equalise it. Boy, oh boy, there was some noise in the household this morning at around between 6:35 maybe and 6:50. Me going for Arsenal, my brother going for Chelsea. There was a bit of noise during that 10-minute period, and then Arsenal probably with the chances to steal it late. I was telling you earlier with Jesus coming down the wing, cutting it across. Nice little backheel flick from Marino, who hit I'm not sure if Sanchez meant to do it, but hit him in the shoulder. I think he hit him. I don't think Sanchez saved it. Jesus maybe offside. And then the last kick of the game, Trossard shanks it past Marino, who also could have tapped it in. So could have won it there, centimetres from winning it. But Arteta's come out. He said he's proud of the group.
Yep. Good result, I think, for Arsenal. Important.
I think so. It feels weird going into it as favourites, but I think losing Rice, losing Saka, Odegaard coming back in after days training, we're on a bit of a winless streak. And Chelsea have been battering teams. They have been ruthless. To go and hold them to one and probably be the better team. Yeah, we deserved more, probably.
Yep.
Like you'd like to get all 3 points, but he said he's proud of the team. Then I'm not going to argue that. You can't argue that, really.
Nope.
So yeah, interesting looking table. Nottingham in 5th, Brighton in 6th, heading into what is it now? The 4th international break we've had.
Yippee! My favourite.
Yeah. So since we're on international break, we'll just forget about football.
Cool.
And we've got UFC 309 this weekend. And the big fella, John Jones, making his return. What is your take on the card, UFC 309 as a whole? What are we going to expect?
My take, I think the main and co-main, very entertaining.
Charles?
Everything after that, pretty lackluster. You've got to go in Jim Miller on the prelims, and you've got Bo Nickel, who's being pushed very, very heavily by the UFC to try and be something.
Yep.
Sitting at $1.09 against a very average Paul Craig.
Is Bo Nickel going to be anything? Are they pushing the wrong guy here?
I think he's a very good wrestler.
Yep.
I just think he, at the moment, a little bit lacking personality, and he's lacking good competition. They're pushing him, but they're pushing him against very average strikers. So Paul Craig is one of those.
17-8-1, Paul Craig.
Yep. And there's a reason Bo Nickel was 109. But it'll be great. It'll be great because he is good. There's no doubt about it. And then once he starts to get to that top echelon of fighters, it'll become very interesting, I think. Up until that point, you're putting him 3rd fight on the card. I don't know. I don't know if he belongs there.
Okay, so then we'll go Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good one.
It'll be an absolute banger. I hope it happens. There was question marks around Michael Chandler, so hopefully he pulls through and not pull out. He's sitting at $3. Charles $1.40. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see Michael back in the octagon.
Yeah. What's the chat around him maybe not fighting?
There was question marks about him pulling out. I can't remember the details.
Fighters and pulling out is ridiculous, man.
He hasn't fought for 2 years. He was maybe he got the phone call from Conor McGregor. Wait, I'll fight you. Come back.
I'll fight.
But yeah, we'll see. Obviously losing to Charles in their first fight by a KO TKO.
Yep.
I think it was 2nd round maybe. See how he does this weekend. And then, of course, the main card, John Jones is back. He's back.
Is it going to be his retirement fight?
Potentially.
Would you like it to be his retirement fight, or do you think
No, I
he
want him.
needs...
I genuinely want him to fight Tom Aspinall. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Why, 'cause he's scared?
Yeah, you're holding the belt and you're not fighting. You're fighting a 42-year-old that hasn't fought since 2021. Give Tom Aspinall the fight or give him the belt. I don't think you deserve to sit on it when you're so inactive. But nonetheless, good to see him back. He is a beast, and $1.15 favorite over Stipe.
Who is this Stipe?
Stipe's the GOAT of the heavyweight division. He's fought, like the best of the best in his time. He's just a bit more of a veteran in a time where he hasn't fought for a couple years. He's been a little bit forgotten about.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tom Aspinall has been crying for the opportunity.
Is he too desperate? Is that what the UFC don't want? Dana White's
not at all. He was interim heavyweight champion, and he's like, I am the best fighter in this division. You have to give me what you consider the GOAT. And they're saying, no. And you go, what do you want me to do then? I've dominated everyone. I have the quickest or the short amount of fight time in the UFC, No one can touch me. Give me John Jones. John Jones is like, I need to think about my legacy. Come on, bro.
So Dana White's just in John Jones' pocket.
Oh, 100%. But, I think this will be a good fight nonetheless. But you talk about retirement fights. I think it's more likely he gets this, has that legacy, and then retires rather than fights this and then fights Tom Aspinall afterwards.
Lose the belt and then end his career on that note. With a little bit of a sour taste in his mouth, probably.
I think you were saying it's more likely that he would fight Alex Pereira, Putan, Chama, then fight Tom Aspinall, which is absolutely ridiculous.
That would be a good fight, though.
Yeah, but not even relevant. He's in a separate division. Tom Aspinall's there's waiting. He's challenging you, and you dodging. You be dodging and still dodging. So that would be a huge slap in the face if that fight happened. This fight happens, and then he goes to Alex. I think that's a huge slap in the face.
I could see it happening.
He has to defend his belt, basically.
I could see it happening.
Yeah,
like the way the UFC works and the backing that John Jones has within the company, I reckon he just gets what he wants. It seems.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure, you can understand why he doesn't want to.
Yeah. If we stick with combat sports, we've got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson as well this weekend.
The real fight.
We're going to the real fights now. We're talking the good stuff, the good stuff. So this was postponed earlier in the year because Mike Tyson had a tooth infection.
He had old man issues. Of some description.
something that a 50-year-old boxer.
Yep.
No, I think he actually had an infection of some sort. Yep. That he wasn't
healthy.
Fit, but
he wasn't healthy.
He comes into this, Mike Tyson, as a $3 underdog. Now, does that tell you the fight is rigged towards Jake Paul? Or are we back? Is Jake Paul actually going to be any good here? Is Mike Tyson just going to be too slow and old? Or is Mike Tyson going to knock him out with maybe his second or third punch he actually properly lands? Because there is an unbelievable amount of power behind that man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this fight has gotten to the place where I think a lot of people just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It was meant to happen back in June. That hype died. But it's on Netflix. That's nice. I'll turn on Netflix. Sure.
Do we need to pay for that on Netflix? If you've got a Netflix account?
I don't think so. I think it's just there. They're live streaming it for the first ever sports live stream on Netflix. Yeah, look, there's a couple of rule changes. It's not considered an exhibition match. Exhibition match. But it is. Instead of the traditional 3-minute, they're doing 8 2-minute rounds, and instead of 10-ounce gloves, they're using 14-ounce.
Okay.
I know there's a couple states in America that are not too happy about that, and they're not considering this a genuine official match because of these rule changes.
Is it going to go on either of their records?
It's going on both their records, supposedly. But they believe that the rule changes in terms of licensing, regulation, like that takes it out of the official bout, whatever. I don't know, American business. Mike Tyson, though, 58 fights, 50 wins. Jake Paul, 11 fights, 10 wins. He's becoming a very genuine boxer at this stage.
I feel like he actually
is. Less of a meme now because he's been doing it for so many years. He's actually become very legit, unfortunately.
He's still not fought a good boxer yet. Maybe Tommy Fury, but he drew that. That was a tie.
He lost that, didn't he? Pretty
Oh,
sure that
is
was
that
a
the one
loss.
he's lost?
That was a
I
loss.
thought they tied it.
He lost by split decision, I think, or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of them have been retired MMA fighters, etc.
Yeah.
50-year-olds, etc. Mike Tyson, different gravy, but 58 years old. It's like, man, this is like fighting your granddad, dude. Come on. 31-year age gap. It's hard to get excited about it. If this happened in June, I would have been keen.
No, I agree.
The delay has just kind of fizzled out. And it's like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
Cool. And the rule changes. It's good that it's an official fight and everything. I don't know how much gas Tyson has, but maybe it's just a one-punch thing. Or maybe he bites Jake's Paul ear off. Maybe it could be the best fight in recent history. We'll see.
I think the
energy behind it is non-existent.
I was kind of keen for it back when it, like you said, back when it was meant to happen. But now I'm seeing stuff around like Mike's all buddy with Logan Paul. And they're kind of like, it feels like there's no actual tension between them. They're just going to go out there, put on a bit of a show. They're both going to get paid.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel that genuine. Like, Jake probably does want to go out there and win.
Yeah.
Because if he knocks out Mike Tyson, that's huge for him.
Huge.
But Mike Tyson, I don't know, the way he's been acting and the way he's been talking feels like he is your granddad, like how your granddad would talk. He's kind of just, he also he loves his mushrooms, so he's always on the mushrooms.
Right.
So he's just very relaxed. Whether he can flip that switch when he puts the gloves on and enters the ring and that dog comes back out, if that is the case, Mike Tyson will floor Jake Paul. If he can't find the Mike Tyson of old within himself, if it's actually fizzled out, might be a little light flickering in there, a little flame.
Maybe.
If that can grow, knocks him out. If that's gone, Jake Paul wins by decision, I reckon. I don't think he'll knock Mike Tyson out. What does that mean?
Interesting to see if a punch for Mike Tyson is what wakes him up and just...
maybe it's what he needs.
Throws him back to the good old days. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he eats a punch and he's like, actually, this is for real. Let me go and eat you.
That's the thing, yeah. Yeah, there feels like a bit of a lack in boxing in general when it comes to rivalry and general hatred. They just do too much, a little too much on the promo side where they have to do things together and there's no real fire or... You're doing too many photo shoots together. You're doing too many poses together. You're hanging out way too much to be in contention for a real sort of rivalry. So,
and Mike's hanging out with his older brother, Jake Paul's older brother, and it's like that. They're buddies. They're literally like...
This is a KSI Logan Paul fight for money, so they can make prime. Interesting to see what business venture they come up with after this fight, for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if they will.
I'm sure they will.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson start up something.
What can they do? Gloves, maybe?
Yeah. Jake Paul paying $210 to knock him out. $4 by decision.
Wow.
So that could be a little dabble. Otherwise, I would be on a mic.
Either that or it's a grapple fest. It's a slug fest. It's a 60-year-old man. He gets tired. Jake Paul want to grapple because he doesn't want to get hit by Mike Tyson. Like, who would? But
no, that's fair. That's fair call.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Mike Tyson to win after being knocked down could be a shout. Like you said, that first punch wakes him up. He could get knocked down and then wake up and that dog in him comes back and he's
Mike
like,
Tyson.
All right, I've had enough, man.
Mike Tyson CTE, he forgets all about the contract and just absolutely destroys Jake Paul, eats him alive.
Yeah, that's fair. Alrighty, so that's kind of what's coming up. If we look to tomorrow,
Christchurch.
We're heading down to Christchurch tomorrow morning for the New Zealand Trotting Cup. It's Cup week all week. We're going to be there tomorrow and for the TAB Mile on Wednesday. We have a bet back on Addington, races 1 to 6.
Okay.
So that's nice. You can get around that. The Trotting Cup is race 9. Swayze is the current favourite, paying $2.70. Is there anyone you're kind of eyeing up? Have you looked at it? I've looked at a couple.
Funnily enough, yes.
All right, talk to me.
We are going to be there. We'll see it live. Got to back someone. You talked about Swayze being the favourite. No real surprise. The New South Wales pacer.
Yeah.
Did win it last year. Getting that sort of tactical early battle over that Canterbury favourite, Akuta. And as you say, is the favourite again at 270. And in good winning form. I think won the last 3 races. So
I'm just trying to find the form here, actually. Yeah.
Merlin as well for me, looking sharp. Winning the last 2, sitting at about 320.
And old this is Zach Butcher on Merlin.
Indeed. Who you've interviewed, actually, which might be swaying me slightly into the Merlin demographic, but I do like the odds there, considering the form of Merlin. Another one, a weird one. I love my alliteration, so I keep my eye out for my alliteration, and there's a beach ball, the BB.
There's a beach ball.
And funnily enough, beach ball was in the race last year. I backed beach ball last year, came 3rd.
Market mover, I tell you, down from 301 to 101.
I was going to say this year it's not really looking like the same beach ball because it's sitting at 101 odds despite having a very successful driver on board. But I'll keep my eye on it.
Okay.
But I don't think, its form of late, it's really struggled. So probably not that top 3 of last year, but I do like my alliteration. I'm keeping an eye on it.
You're kind of thinking a place around, paying $14 for the place, old beach ball.
Yeah.
Bouncing around into 3rd place, maybe.
But yeah, 1st and 2nd favourite, they're looking good.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, it's actually race 11, not race 9. I got that wrong. Race 11. But yeah, so like you said, I've had a chat with Zach Butcher. So I'm liking Merlin. I've also had a chat with Blair Orange, and he's on top. He's driving. Sorry, Don't Stop Dreaming. And Don't Stop Dreaming is up there as well as one of the favourites, paying $4.60 for the win.
Okay.
There's one I just got to go for, number 3, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I guess you have no choice.
Don't really have to explain that one.
Yep.
So we're going to back him, paying 51s. And then Moanga, who won the Kaikoura Cup last Monday.
Okay.
Turns out, I didn't know this until last night, but I actually know the owners.
Oh.
Or partial owners. We're trying to figure out, so we knew they owned
Is it Richie Moanga?
No, but funnily enough, they're massive Crusaders fans.
Oh, well,
I think their godson plays in the Crusaders of some sort, so it's probably where that tie comes from. But yeah, so gonna back Moanga, paying 14s for the win as well. So got a couple options there. We're going Charlie Brown, Moanga, Don't Stop Dreaming, and Merlin.
You're going to need an SRM.
Yeah, I'll probably do a little SRM. I'm not going to back the favourite. I learned that last week at the Melbourne Cup. Every punter I talked to said not to back the favourite. But it also feels like if you're taking any learnings from last week, back the roughies. So maybe Beach Ball could be in for one old Beach Ball. So
a turn of tide, perhaps.
Potentially. Alrighty, well, I think that's all I've got. One thing I did want to just let you know of, the Chiefs now are still undefeated. We won this morning. We beat the Broncos. Blocked field goal. Last second of the game, Broncos had a field goal to win it. Took the time out. Let's move it to the right hash because that's where our kicker wants to kick from. The boys get up, get a hand in front of it, and we stay undefeated.
Well.
Unreal from the boys. Also, the Black Caps, they didn't win their first game in Sri Lanka.
No, they did not.
But they won the second T20 overnight in a low-scoring affair. Lockie Ferguson with a hat-trick.
Nice.
One of the weirdest hat-tricks ever. All 3 of them got reviewed.
Oh.
So, a Yorker, which usually would lead to being bowled at LBW, nicked it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you think you nick a Yorker, it goes into the ground and then shoots up. Nope. Caught behind. That's the first one.
Very
Second one, LBW. Looked pretty good, but Sri Lanka reviewed it naturally. Third one, strangled down leg side, which Sri Lanka also reviewed. But nevertheless, a Lockie Ferguson hat-trick, and then Glenn Phillips taking 3 wickets in the final over to get the win. I think Sri Lanka needed 8 off it.
Huge bounce back.
But yeah, so split the series, 1-1. Go the BCs.
How good.
But yeah, that was a weird game. I think he scored 108 and bowled them out for 104. But yeah, so that's all I've got. Was there anything else you felt like you wanted to add?
Let's get down to Christchurch.
Yeah, early flight tomorrow.
Hopefully some good weather.
We're going to be dressed,
some good races,
suited and booted, ready to go when we get on the plane. Rock up to the races. Hopefully win some cash.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Interview some punters, get around it, see what they're thinking. And we'll have a bit of fun. And we'll be back on Friday for a look at this weekend's sport
Yes, indeed.
and action and see if we can make a pretty penny then.
Nice.
See you then. Thanks for listening.